Whakataka te hau ki te uru. Whakataka te hau ki te tau. Kia mā kina ki. Kia mā tara. Ki ana. Te atakura. I hau. Well, good morning everyone and welcome to the Grants Subcommittee meeting. There is some prediction that this meeting won't be a long one, but that is to in no means any reflection on the quality of the work that's gone into these papers and the huge amount of work that officers have done. So I just want to acknowledge that at the beginning. We do have some apologies. We have apologies from Mayor Foster, Councillor Day, Councillor Paul, and that's it. So I will move that the apologies are accepted. Do I have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Matthews. I'll put that motion. Press 1 if you're in favour and 2 against. Excellent, that's passed. Thank you, everyone. Does anyone have any conflicts of interest they want to declare? No. I'll just move on to approving the minutes then. I move that we approve the minutes of the meeting held on 5th of December. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Matthews, thank you very much. Those in favour, please press 1. Oh yeah. Great. There's no items not on the agenda, and we did have a public participant, but they have advised that they won't be coming in. So I'll just hand over to Councillor Pennant to introduce our first report.
Thank you, Councillor Fitzsimons. This always gives me great pleasure to hand out money to owners of heritage buildings. In fact, this is going to be the highlight of my week. There you go. And look, for those of you who are newer than me, we have had arguments over the years around the level of this fund. It has been cut drastically. We've had arguments about putting it up again. It has, and then poor Mr. Lindsay, I cut it again. I'll get onto that in the second paper by halving the fund. But look, it's fantastic to see the progress that's being made here. Obviously, there's still 62 heritage buildings that we need some information about, but we should take great hope that people are investing in safety so that we can keep these buildings for the future. I'd like to thank my Labour colleagues for reminding us that we need to spend money at the moment. We need to pump money into the economy. So if this can be a small contribution. Just 2 more comments in saying that we do make a contribution, and I think it's right because it's some public benefit. It's not enough to cover the cost sometimes of very, very expensive projects. So just warning you colleagues, I will be putting up a bid for LTP to actually increase this fund. It's absolutely critical that we, even with what's going on at the moment, that we keep on investing. And I have absolutely no problem still with giving it to private owners. I know that we've made a good shift here in terms of making it for people who really can't afford not to do the work, but nevertheless it benefits the whole city. So I'm very happy with that, and I hope that we can sort out 43 Kent Terrace too. It is a problematic building, but it's an important building, so I'll be talking to officers further about that. Thanks, colleagues.
Cool, and I'll second this, and I just wanted to reiterate what Aaron has said about the huge amount of officer input that went into this. We know that it's really, really detailed work, and it's different parts of the organisation working together, and I think it's really admirable how you've been able to go through them and do such diligent and dedicated analysis, and that's very clear from the paper and also from the pre-reading. And I think that this fund is quite an interesting place for the council to be in the city, and it's exactly the kind of role that I think a big public body like the council should take, and we may in the coming weeks and months see more of this type of approach from the council to support Wellington. So yeah, I'm very supportive of it. Is there any other speakers? No? All right.
Thank the officers. Thank you as always for your commitment to preserving Wellington's heritage. It's fantastic. Thank you.
Motion's been moved and seconded. All those in favour, press 1. Excellent, we're on to our second report, and I again ask Councillor Pennant to introduce it.
Right, well, some of you may remember the former Mayor Lester and I argued about whose idea this was, but it is a pleasure to introduce this paper as well. Look, we've over the years we've had a lot of feedback from our community that heritage has been given money and there's other buildings which also need support. So that's why we decided to split the money with a focus on owners of apartment buildings, which is a very, very difficult area. So it absolutely gives me great pleasure. Also, of course, the sports clubs too. That's fantastic that we're building resilience into our community. We need to keep going with that. Just because we have a devastating virus doesn't mean that earthquakes are less of a risk. So we just need to have a steady hand. My comment about the contribution to the cost is even more true here. Apartment owners are facing enormous costs in strengthening their buildings, and it's been reminded to me that by one of the inner city Wellington people that we are the only country in the world that has such a wide mandatory requirement to earthquake strengthen buildings. That might be fine, but the problem is the public money hasn't followed, and of course with the increase in construction costs, it is a perfect storm for people. And now, if we're facing recession, this is going to be really difficult. So it is important that we put money into these buildings. Many of these people, of course, are my constituents. They are not wealthy people. They might own property, but this is their home. It is not a business that they can make any money out of. So I am pleased that we are putting this money in and look forward to seeing it spent. And again, a big thanks to the officers for the important work that you're doing to make our city safe.
Yeah, thank you, and I'll second this, and I just do want to reiterate the thanks to officers again for this work. It is very, very important work. And I also wouldn't mind just a bit of officer advice around, in para 36, it talks about being asked to approve the officer's recommendation on broadening the scope of number 4, criteria 4, but I don't see that reflected in the recommendations. And I just wonder, do we need to ensure that that is formally passed, or is an indication enough? Seems to me that we should bring paragraph 36 into the recommendations. Yeah, cool. Yeah, great. Well, let's just agree that that is part of the recommendations. We might just need to draft that slightly differently. Just get rid of is asked to, and then we can just include that by agreement, Iona. Cool, and I just did want to pick up on your comment around you and the former mayor competing over whose idea it was, and good ideas have many parents. Councillor Foon.
Kia ora. Thank you, Councillor Fitzsimons. You dealt with my question, but just thank you so much for being the thorough work. It's really helped to understand what we need to do here. But I also just want to congratulate the council's approach on this as an incentives-based approach. It's so positive, and it's such a joy to share with people that there is a positive thing we are doing. So it's a great carrot. So thank you, and I think I'd like to see more of this in council too.
Are people confident about what we're voting on? Is that para 36? Great, all right. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favour, please press 1. Thanks, everyone. As anticipated, it was a short meeting, but by no means an indication of how important it was. Yeah. So now we'll just close the meeting with the reading of a Karakia. Oh, sorry. Done. Unu here, unu here, unu here, kia wātia, kia Kia ora.
Kia ora.